Hey everybody, we're here today to make some biscuits. I don't know if you guys make homemade biscuits or not, but if you don't know what you're missing. So let's get started. These are quick to make and they're fun to make, and this is something that you can do with your kids. They're gonna love it. We're gonna start with self-rising flour, meaning that we do not have to add salt, baking soda, or any of those things to it. It's got all of that in it, so this is a one stop right here. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our flour, and you wanna make sure that you sift your flour. Don't know if you have a sifter, but if you don't, you need one. This makes anything that's in the flour that's hard pieces or anything is gonna stay in this. It makes the flour lighter, which makes your biscuits lighter. So let's get this going. And you're gonna put more flour in here than what you're actually gonna need for your biscuits, but you're gonna make what they call a well down in the center of your biscuits so you can have something to work out of, which is the center of the well. That's where all your good stuff is gonna go, and that's what you're gonna use. So we're through with that. You're gonna go to the center of your flour, and you're just gonna kind of not go completely down to the bottom, but just kind of make like a little well in it. Second of all, shortening. You gotta have shortening. Without shortening, you won't have a biscuit. This is what's gonna keep it light and fluffy, and this is a must. So I measure this by the end of my hand, meaning right along the finger line, right here. I'm gonna put my shortening from here to here, which if probably measured out, it would probably be about 3/4 of a cup. About like that. That's gonna go in the center. And what you're gonna do is before you start adding your milk, you are gonna kind of break this up into the center in smaller pieces. Just kind of move it around a little bit so it's not in one clump. And then you're gonna add your milk. Now my mom made her biscuits with both, depending on what she had, regular homogenized milk and buttermilk. I prefer buttermilk over regular homogenized because it gives it a better flavor. I can tell a buttermilk biscuit from a regular homogenized milk biscuit. Some people say that's impossible, but it's not. If you tasted it, you would know. So if I had to guess in a measuring cup, I would say probably 1.5 cups is what you're gonna use, but you probably won't use all of it, depending on how much dough you're gonna make, how many biscuits you're gonna make. Normally you're gonna come out with about 7. The more milk you add, the more shortening you add, the more biscuits you're gonna have. So we're just gonna start out with a little to get this working. And when you start working the dough, you don't wanna work from the bottom. You wanna work from the sides, which means you're barely pulling from the sides very tenderly, and you can turn your bowl as you're doing it. You're just starting to work the flour in with the shortening. So we've got everything mixed up. We put a little bit of flour on the outside of our dough, and we're gonna start putting it in our pan for baking. I wanted to tell you, when I first started getting all my ingredients out, I set the oven to 400 degrees. These are gonna cook 15 to 20 minutes until they're just golden brown. You can tell when they're done. So I've greased my pan with a little bit of shortening so nothing will stick. Okay, so we're ready to pop them in the oven at 400. We're just gonna keep a close eye on them. And like I said, they are not gonna be perfectly cut out. They're gonna be what I would call a rustic biscuit. Go. Hi guys, the biscuits are done. I think they are gonna be absolutely perfect. You can see how they are. You see how rustic they are? If you didn't want to let them get this dark, you could have taken them out a lot sooner. Okay, so the time has come. We're gonna find out what these biscuits are all about. So let's cut into one, and I myself like mine buttered, and you can see how flaky they are. They're nice and hot. And see how moist the dough is? So I'm gonna butter mine, and I am a honey girl. So I love honey on my biscuits. Also good with sorghum syrup and good with jelly. And I'm gonna tell you, I can tell right now these are gonna melt in your mouth. All honeyed up. And then we're gonna do the taste test. And my mother would be so proud of me right now, because this was her biscuit recipe. So let's go for it. Thumbs up. All the way, thumbs up. Wonderful. You guys have got to try these. They will melt literally in your mouth. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with me today and sharing this wonderful biscuit recipe with me. I'm telling you, you've got to try it. They are out of this world. And be back with me next week when I have a new recipe for you that's going to be just as good as these. So I will see you next week in the Oklahoma Girls Kitchen.